Yep, that's it. Just popped up on Zoom for me. So it's now
Meeting
live.
is now live, streaming live on Facebook. So here we are again, I guess, Alistair.
Again, we're back.
Again?
Back for more.
Let's see. I was just explaining to Alistair. Welcome everybody. I hope you can hear us. I was just explaining to Alistair. I've got four or five devices on: desktop, mobile phone, laptop, and Chromebook, just to see the Facebook page, the chat coming in, and there we are. We are live. Oh yes, there we go. Excellent. So,
yeah, I had the quick panic of muting my Facebook feed. Where my mic sits, it's quite close to my speaker, so it probably comes straight like through it and create a loop.
Oh, I see. Well, there's no sort of. I put the sound off on all the other machines, so it should be okay. Don't hear anything sort of annoying loop or something. So here we are again, Alistair. Week 5, AskTuminds week 5, and we're missing our Emma.
No, Emma.
Emma. We gave Emma off today. Actually, she's been working really hard on some digital projects that we have going. And so we gave Emma off for a week. That's quite nice, isn't it, Alistair?
Yeah, I think so. And fingers crossed it's sunny for her as well. So that, well, at least it's sunny in Inverness. So I'm hoping it's the same for her, so that she can actually go out with the kids and do something.
Problem is, if people now have difficult questions, then it's up to us.
Oh, we just refer them to next week. We've run out of time.
So then I think that's a good thing. If you don't know the answer, we'll come back to you next week when Emma is back again. So here we go. So welcome back, everybody. And if you're online and listening to us, feel free. Oh, hello, Diva. There's
Hey, Dee, how's things?
Say hello in the comments. Give us a like or a love, even better. And feel free to interact. If you have questions or just some observations or anything funny, feel free to share that as well. Okay, just as we normally do is this is week 5, so week 4 was actually quite different last week because that went through Instagram. How was that?
That was an experience.
Yeah.
The Instagram side of things was, I would say, fine. I think we had a little bit of an audio issue, just to do with how far away phones were and stuff like that. But again, kind of got through the hurdles. Slightly different audience, which was quite nice. Nice to see some of our Facebook fans coming across to Instagram for it as well, though.
It was different, wasn't it? We didn't do Zoom because I was in a Zoom meeting with some other people, so we couldn't use Zoom for that case. But actually, it was a nice way to try different things. And we thought, I think actually instead of canceling it altogether, Alistair said, "Well, why don't we use Instagram?" I probably regret it now. So.
But it's funny. Me and Emma, after that, we were both like, "Why did I do that? why have I done this to us?"
You're a very brave man. So no, we're back on Facebook again through Zoom. We're having a Zoom meeting, me and Alistair together, and it's actually broadcasting to the Facebook page. And Dee is really impressing me every time, saying good afternoon in Dutch. Goedemiddag. So well done. We might do a Dutch sort of AskTuminds.
Well, I'll just moderate the chat.
Yeah,
and you can take over for that one.
At the moment, it's double Dutch. So. So just to let people know, last week you featured some questions through Instagram. I'm just going to share my screen. Here we go. And as usual, Emma has created a blog post for that. So AskTuminds week 4 through Instagram. You can find out on our website, tuminds.com/blog. The latest blog post from last week is here with all the questions that people had and the links that we shared up here. So again, a great job from Emma to sort of put a lot of time and effort into this writing this blog post. Now, not just because Emma is not here, but we changed the sort of the way we're gonna share the links and updates of today. So instead of creating a blog post, we'll actually put it on the Facebook page as a comment. So after we finish the AskTuminds live, we will share the solutions, the questions, the links with people through the Facebook page. So that's what we're going to do today, because it is a lot of work, blog post writing, isn't it?
Yeah. There's quite a bit, and I think if I remember rightly, Emma actually almost re-watches the kind of hour-long session and then lifts her notes out of it as well.
Yeah,
so, she puts in quite a lot of work into it.
Absolutely, and it's good for SEO. You know, blogging is always good for SEO, but instead of having just AskTuminds as latest blog post, I think it would be wisely to sort of use the Facebook comments as a way to communicate with everybody. Just so you know, Alistair, because Emma wasn't here, I thought, hey, maybe a nice opportunity for Fiona to drop in.
Oh, perfect.
So I sent her a message about 10 minutes ago to say, you know, if you're available, why don't you drop in? But
Tumbleweed.
I haven't heard anything since. So.
Yeah, she's got an urgent appointment she needs to go to.
Yeah. So she might be watching. I don't know, but maybe next time we'll drop Fiona in as well for the coffee chat.
Hey,
cool.
I'm sure she would like that.
Yes, exactly, and it's good for everybody else to see actually Fiona, who's usually behind the scenes. You know, it's Alistair and Emma and other trainers. We go out and meet everybody. Poor Fiona always sits in the office, not seeing anybody, and so it would be nice to sort of have a sort of behind the scenes at Tuminds and bring Fiona in as the motor, the driver between the Tuminds as well. Cool. Vicky, Vicky, welcome Vicky as well. I'll come back to your question. We also had a question from, was it Claire? No, who was it? About Instagram business. Let's see.
Is this one that came in just before we went live?
Yeah, before we went live.
Was it from
She
Carol?
hasn't responded yet. So I'll start with Vicky then. Hi, Vicky. The question you have says, we've been promoting some online training this week via social media and email. I messaged a few people via LinkedIn messaging. Do you think this is a productive way to contact people? We want to get the balance right between being helpful and not annoying. That's a very good question, actually. And I'm just gonna, Carol, that's Carol. The name pops out of my head. I'll come back to Carol. But yeah, there is indeed a sort of a balance between, you know, how often do you share updates about an event or a training, and how often do you do that? And I think there's a fine balance between indeed doing it a few times and doing it too often, which can actually backfire in that sense. I think it's a good way to, first of all, what is it that you're trying to promote? For who is it? What is the audience that you want to target? And by the sounds of it, is some online training via social media. Online training. I don't know what type of training that is, but no doubt there might be sort of professionals that you're trying to target. Oh, and I think he's retail, charity retail. That's right. I think it's that drip feeding as well. Is first use your platform where you think this is where my main target audience is hanging out, and I guess that in your case that would be LinkedIn or email. Email is actually, although we're big fans of social media at Tuminds, but email marketing is still a very effective way to sort of get responses from people. So I think email marketing is probably your first bet. That's your sort of your warm audience in that sense. People that have subscribed to your newsletter, people that have used your service before. So we'll start with that email newsletter, and then after that, sort of drip feeding it on LinkedIn and Twitter in stages in that sense. And like I said before, there is a fine balance. However, you need marketing only works when it's repeated. So one message or one email shot will get a little bit of interaction, but you need to repeat it at different sort of stages in that sense. So what we do is the same thing as you do probably, is through our existing email database first. So our warm audience that have subscribed to the newsletter, keep us informed about newsletter. That's we're going to send out first. Then we get a little bit of reactions from that. But then it's a case of sharing that on LinkedIn and Twitter as well, and actually going back at a later stage to the newsletter again. But instead of, and I think this is very important, instead of putting a reminder email to all of them, is finding out who has responded, who has already signed up or showed interest, and take them off that newsletter list, because they've already signed up. They don't need a reminder for that sort of things. And I think that's where people get a little bit annoyed. And it's a bit like sort of the remarketing as well. But what actually works very good, I've looked at the products. I haven't bought it, I put it in my basket, and then I see an advert. I think that's very good. But if I have bought that product, and it happens quite a lot, and I see Alistair smiling as well, it happens a lot when we signed up for a product. It's usually a software platform that we signed up. We signed up, but still we see adverts about sign up now, and that's annoying. And I think that's very important to keep in mind. Anything to add to that, Alistair?
No, the part I was going to kind of jump in with was about the kind of targeting of email side of things. And yeah, I totally agree that the email should be the kind of starting base as such. But yeah, the splitting of your data further down the line to say this communication goes to these people that have either shown interest or haven't opened it, or vice versa side of things. So that would be the aspect I would go down. But I also like that aspect of potentially having personal conversation through LinkedIn, especially if you're thinking about targeting maybe people that you might not have in your subscriber database. Because then you can obviously see or hopefully see at least what their position is in the company, maybe how long they've been there, and so on and so forth as well.
Very good. No, it's a difficult question to answer, because that finding that right balance is very sort of difficult in a sense. But I think your comment about avoid being annoying, I think that's important. It's nothing. Nobody likes to get lots of emails that they're not interested in. And if you get a lot of reminders, and I've not responded the first time or the second time, don't keep sending reminders. And I think that's annoying. The main thing is avoid being annoying. That's but yeah, email newsletter is something the best one to start with. And then I think what you're saying about personal invitation on LinkedIn is very important as well. We with our digital business school, I mean that's just sort of the questions we had ourselves with the digital business school. We only had place for 6 people for the digital business school. So it's not a big audience in that sense. So you first try your email newsletter, then you look at the LinkedIn people that have showed an interest in the past. They send them a personal invite. I know you've contacted us a few months ago, a few weeks ago, with an interest for this workshop. However, we now have this, which is part of it, and all this sort of stuff. So it's that drip feeding that's important. Hope that answers your question.
I was just trying to have a wee look on the chat there. I think she's given us a wee bit more information. Resisted a newsletter because we thought we'd swamped people already. What's a good gap between posting online and going out again via newsletter?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, it is marketing only works when it's repeated. So you have to repeat the message. But I think to do it properly, I think it's in the planning as always. If you're planning an event, and hopefully that's months in advance, think about and put it in your social media calendar. First a teaser. And I see that a lot actually. It's first when businesses are thinking about offering something, I sometimes see that on LinkedIn, and no doubt, Alistair, you have the same, where people say, hey, we're thinking about doing this. What do you think? And they're getting a lot of responses on that. And a lot of interested people. We did that with the digital business school.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So, and when I talk about planning, is okay. You're trying to do an event in, say, things are different now, but it's say August. Okay, the date of the event is there. The teaser goes out in May. You know, put it in your diary. We're thinking of this, that, and that, and then. Look in the diary. The closer you get to that event, identify the different platforms you're going to use, and I think that what's important, the different messaging you're going to use, the different visuals, the different headlines, the different sort of content. I think that's important to do that. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you end up with the same message repeated over and over again. Would you agree, Alistair?
Totally agree. Yeah, and that drip feeding of content over a period of time as well keeps the people interested, especially even the ones that have signed up. It's that kind of reminder mechanism for them as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, any more comments? I've seen a few. Jarina, hi Jarina, how are you? I had a post on Facebook that had a reach of 8,500. What does that mean? Okay, reach of 8,500 means 8,500 people have seen it on their newsfeed. It came up on their newsfeed, the desktop newsfeed or the mobile newsfeed, not necessarily read it in that sense, but they Facebook measures the amount of people that have seen it on their newsfeeds at the time when you posted it. So the reach means people have seen it. They're not responded to it. They might have seen it sort of in a flash, yeah, in a sense. But that's what that means. How do a follow-up post to keep my audience? I did not post it on Instagram. Should I? And do I have to tweak slightly? Oh, absolutely. Sorry for asking so many questions. Don't worry about that.
That's why we're here.
Otherwise, me and Alistair are discussing our new haircuts and
or our lack of haircuts.
We need those questions. We need those questions from you. So don't apologize for that. So how do I follow a post to keep my audience? I think, and we both mentioned that in our workshops, Alistair. I think quality of post is more important than quantity of posts. So to keep your audience engaged, it's certainly not boosting the times of posting, I feel, but it's thinking about the right sort of content for your audience. And on Instagram, that's different than on Facebook and on LinkedIn. Not every post will reach 10,000, 50,000 or more people. But you learn from your post. The problem is if you post and you now have a post of 8,500, which is great because you need that reach, obviously, but that's actually the engagement that you need. So people liking it, commenting on it, or even better, loving it, or sharing it. And that's what you need to focus on. Is the post that I'm about to do, is that informative? Is that what people are looking for? Is that funny? Is that newsworthy? Does that have an interest to my target audience? Agree?
Yeah. Is there something in the content to actually make them engage with you? Yeah. The amount of times that, and I know you get this in your workshops as well, Randy, but the amount of times that you get people that think they have a great post, and it could be a great post, it's just that they've not actually got anything to make that audience think, yeah, I actually want to comment on this. So it's sometimes thinking about how you word it so that you might actually have a question in it or something that would make someone almost have some sort of emotion compared to just standing on your soapbox and giving them a message.
Absolutely. The problem is indeed if you're putting too many posts out there and there's not a lot of people responding to it, then the algorithm of all these social media platforms thinks, you've got 1,000 likes or 500 or 1,500 likes, but every time you post, 3 people respond to it. And the more times that happens, the worse it gets for your reputation on these platforms. It's because we've already mentioned, not today, but in other workshops, of the 1,000 people that like your page, with your organic reach, you're probably reaching about 5 or 10% if you're lucky. However, if you do a post that all of a sudden a lot of people interact with, then you tend to get more in a sense. And it's trying to keep that. And again, it's all in the data, it's all in the analytics. Have a look in your insights and look at the type of post that gets a lot of reach. And if you look at it, it usually gets a lot of reach if you get a lot of engagement. So that's what you're looking for. Janina says the comments on Facebook posts were asking questions about the post. Do you? What does that mean? The comments on Facebook posts were asking. Oh, we're asking questions. Yeah. Okay. No, I get that. Yeah. Asking questions when people ask questions about the post. Should I follow up with the question? Yeah, definitely. It's a bit like I'm doing now.
It could be a great post. It's just that
yeah,
did you unmute? I was like, I can hear myself, and I'm not talking.
What were you saying, Alison?
It wasn't me; it was you.
Okay. Sorry. So should I follow up with the question? I clicked on reply on that comment, and all of a sudden my whole screen went sort of haywire. So it's indeed you post something, and what you're hoping for is that people engage with that. Not just a like. A like is nice. But a comment is better. So if people have questions about your post, and I think that's quite nice, if you put out a teaser, you give a little bit of info, that opens it up for people to ask questions, to write something in the comments. Can you tell me a little bit more, this, that, and that, and you come back to that question, and other people respond to that. That's what you're hoping for.
Yeah. The other nice part about that is your questions that you potentially get from other people can become your next content.
Yeah,
it's almost fueling what you can post about next.
Yeah. Vicky says, and hi, Janie. Hi, Janie still. And Kate. Fantastic. The regulars. Say hello to the regulars. So Vicky says, and that's, I can understand that. I worry about asking a question on social media and no one answers. Does that look bad? In a sense, yes. That looks a bit, you like to engage with people, but people don't talk back in that sense. A trick could be if you could mention someone in that post. So if you if someone has asked you a question, for example, or regularly interact with your page, you could actually tag them in that post. It's a bit like, it's when you go to when you went to sort of events where there's a speaker, and at the end there's always any questions. Do we have any questions? And nobody has a question. It's always very awkward. And the trick for those event organizers is always have some questions in your hand. So this question came in before, or etc. etc. So be prepared for that. So if you ask a question, try to tag in some people that might have had the same questions, or could contribute to that conversation in that sense. So I think tagging with the @ symbol, you could tag a page in it, or a person. Well, not so much with the page, but you definitely could tag a page in that. But I think that's would be good to do that. But any other solutions, Alistair?
No, again, the tagging side of things would normally be what I would say, but tagging pages just to see if you can try and get more engagement off the back of it.
Absolutely. Kate loves it. Very good, Kate McDonald. Janina, great idea, fantastic. Should I follow up with the questions? Yeah, we answered that one. So I don't think there's much more. I see Hazel coming out. Hazel.
So the other question was Carol submitted one before, didn't she? Did she not?
Yeah.
Put it on our Facebook page.
That's on the page, on the post that we put. We're going live in 10 minutes. Instagram for Business still struggling, but I don't know what she's struggling with. I guess it's because I know Carol and her business. I think where she's struggling is with to get engagement from their audience. But I know Carol's business, City Mobility, I don't think necessarily her target audience is active on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mentioned that a lot. You know, not every platform does good things for your business. Every platform does different things for your business, and it's a bit like us as well. And you know, we use Facebook for this audience, and we're sharing this content on Facebook. On Instagram, it's for this audience, and they're looking for this content. I mentioned it a lot. Instagram and Twitter are more and more used by businesses. So I think those platforms like Instagram and Twitter are maybe not effective to target your end customer in that sense. But I think these are good platforms to reach influencers, other businesses, and you know, it's all about networking. And we used to do that face-to-face and networking, but now it's becoming more and more essential to be visible to other businesses on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on Instagram. So I think that's what Carol is referring to. And I can understand.
She's actually just jumped in just to say that she's actually having issues with Instagram on desktop. Now, that's because Instagram doesn't really work on a desktop. I don't know, have you got a browser open that you could quickly share with Instagram?
Yeah.
If not,
I'll do that. They just added the direct messages to it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I'll open it now. Here we go. So that's
Carol's business, isn't it?
Oh, that's her business. Yeah, great.
It's almost like we planned this.
How is this? Excellent. That's Carol's business, indeed. City Mobility. So I'm signed in as Tuminds, as you can see. So I can like it, and I will like it. Love it. I can comment on it. Here we go. Lovely to see you on Facebook Live. There we go. And this is what I mean. This is the engagement. You know, it's you post something and you're hoping for people to interact with it, to like it, to comment, and all that. So the more people do it, the longer your content will be visible in that sense. Yeah, LinkedIn on the desktop, it's a bit disappointing because you can't do all the things that you can on a mobile. Instagram is very, very mobile orientated. You can do a search, obviously. You can interact, but apart from that, there's not a lot more in that sense. Alistair, anything that I forgot about?
No, you already mentioned that there are direct messages, I'm sure. But yeah, there's no native ability to upload content. So if you are looking to do Instagram, really the way to get the most out of it is either through a mobile phone or a tablet. Yeah.
I also mentioned Hootsuite, of course, to Carol previously. But again, the posting to Instagram Hootsuite is a bit clunky in that sense, and again is limited, not because of Hootsuite, but it's mainly because of Facebook stopped because of all the privacy sort of issues from last year or even 2 years ago. They stopped a lot of access from third-party platforms like Hootsuite to gain access to Instagram. So they reduced the accessibility to Instagram on Hootsuite and other platforms in a sense. Cool. So hopefully that answers your question. Hazel is back.
Oh, hi, Hazel.
Emma was talking about Canva previously. I would like to put a post up with a collage of pieces of jewelry I now have for sale. I'm struggling knowing the size of the ad, finding the size for the post on Facebook. I wanted to put a collage of various pieces I have available. Help! I use, and Carol says, glad it's not me. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, well, Canva should be the platform to use that. Let's have a look.
If you go into Canva and you type in Facebook post, it will set the resolution for you, the size.
It should. I'm on Canva just now, so if I type in
and then
Facebook,
if you type in Facebook, it'll give you it from there.
So you can do a Facebook ad. Was it an ad or a?
I think should a post.
A post.
So if you go further down, there should be post on that list. We go further, post.
And then it's a question of a collage, of course.
Oh, you're in photos. Sorry, already.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
And yeah, if you type it into
there. Facebook post. No. And then you got the different ones, but you're obviously having. But you could create. Because was it not? It used to be that you saw the size of the Facebook post.
When I go to pick from the search bar on Canva, when I type in Facebook post, it actually says in light grey 940 by 788.
I see. That's what it used to tell me as well, but I didn't see that coming up. Facebook post. Oh, here, yes. 940 by 788. Okay, so that means. I guess, but feel free to, so 940 by 788. You could do it this way, I guess.
And then you should just get a blank.
You get a blank, and then you can do a collage templates. Would that be part of photo collage?
Yeah.
Fashion photo collage, travel.
All of these categories down the left-hand side are essentially just different styles of collage that are set up, and then it just be browsing through to find almost like the template style that you like, and then adapting it.
This is a page for one, so I guess that's.
You should still be able to click on the pictures to swap them out.
Yeah, you can still swap them. So if you look at the pictures, oh, look at this.
Oh, hey, why didn't you pick the one of you? Oh, my chin, come on.
Here we go. Oh, look at that.
Yeah. There we go.
So hopefully
you've put me in the Halloween.
Yeah,
dressing me up.
So that's what. Oh, you know, I'm gonna be there as well. Yeah. So hopefully that answers your question, Hazel. But I think Canva would be the right place for that. I mean, I use PicMonkey as well. I found that easier for collages in the past. Here we go. It's now a paid for one. I think I pay £25 a year or something. So you can create templates, collages. Here we go. Templates. Add a new image. Oh, here, collage. That's the one I'm looking for. And trying new PicMonkey. Yeah, not used that for a while then. And the other one.
I've never used the app version of PicMonkey.
Yeah, I've got it on the app as well. Yeah. And then Be Funky. That's the free one. And that's where you can no doubt create a collage. Here we go. So I will start with that. And these are some lovely tartan bags. You can use collage layouts here as well. Collage wizard. So you can do different images, and it does the different sort of collages in that sense. So you can delete these ones. So it's play around with this. I think Canva and PicMonkey and Be Funky are quite good tools to sort of play around. The downside is always cost time to get into it. So Hazel says yes. Thanks both of you. Excellent. Kate McDonald, welcome back. If you had a blog that was sadly neglected and planned to resurrect and rename, would you update with the missing post from last year or just start again? Asking for a friend. I like that.
You can tell your friend.
Tell your friend. And Hazel says, excellent. Thank you very much. Good. And Hazel, don't hesitate. It's share. And this is a good example. So you've asked a question. We apparently responded. We answered your question. satisfactory. So once you created a collage and post it on your Facebook page, I like your Facebook page, but if I'm not interacted enough with you, I won't see your post. And this is a good example to say, thank you, Alistair and Renee of @Tuminds for the tips on creating a collage. Then I would see it, and then both Alistair and myself would respond to it. Yeah. So it's not just posting stuff. It's thinking, how can I get more engagement out of this post? Okay. So back to your question, Kate. A blog post that was sadly neglected.
Is it a post or the actual blog is what I was going to ask. Is it like an individual post, or is it the whole blog has been neglected?
I see. I assumed it was a post, but you're right. I think it's the whole blog.
If it's a blog that's been neglected, I would probably post with like a "I'm back" type post. Compared to starting again, because you'll have historic SEO in place with the old.
Absolutely. Yeah, don't just start from scratch. I think what Alistair said is quite right, and it happens so often with blog posts. You know, it's people start with blogging because they might have been on a digital.
Because both of us have told them to do it.
First job. And Alistair said you need to blog, and he was quite right in that. And then there's so many other things to do than writing a blog post. So a lot of blogs are being set up with the right intentions, but then after 3 months, 6 months, it doesn't get updated. And we see it a lot indeed. You go to a website, you look at latest news, you click on latest news, and the latest news was April 2016. And before that, there was February 2016 and January, but nothing after that. And that's a lot of blogs are suffering from that because there's so many other things to do than blogging. It is quite okay, like Alistair said. You have that content, leave that content there because it still has an SEO value, but resurrect. And I've seen that as well. Actually, some people say, "Well, I'm back." I had so many things to do, but now I'm back, and I'm gonna update once a month or once every 2 months. We've got Emma in our team and Alistair who are very good at blogging. I have to admit, it's blogging does take time, and I don't always have the time. Luckily, we're blessed with Emma and Alistair in the team that create blog posts, and we can see that in our analytics as well. That is driving the traffic to our website. Anything to add to that, Alistair?
I was just going to say, if you are going to resurrect that, I would make sure that I've got some content planned for going out once you do that "I'm back" kind of post. Because if not, it might feel like you do the "Hey, I'm back," and then you have nothing else to follow, and then the blog kind of dips again. I would normally make sure that I've got at least a couple of posts at least planned, maybe not fully written, but planned.
Yeah, indeed, and it's that planning again. I think it's important. If you can blog once a month, that's great. If you do it once every 2 months, that's great as well. But think about, okay, why am I investing this time in this blog post? Is it because Alistair said I need to write blog posts for my SEO, or am I actually going to give some good advice here? And I think that's important.
That goes back to what you mentioned earlier, Rennie, though. It's quality over quantity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, it's and again, planning. And we share it on our every workshop as well. The LinkedIn blog post that we've written in November 2014, which still drives a lot of traffic on a daily basis to our website. We didn't write that with that objective in mind. We wrote that to solve a problem because a lot of people had that question. Now, that resulted in that post is definitely our top post on the blog, but that's not what we've written it for. I think the blog post we and other businesses write is you want to give useful information in that sense, and if you can solve a problem for a client, that could result in inquiries, in leads, in sales, and all this sort of stuff. But don't write it for that purpose. Write it because your audience can be helped with that. Okay, I've got some more questions coming in, but they seem to disappear, so I need to refresh here. Ross, I saw Ross coming in. Ross had a question, but it disappeared from my...
he was just saying it sounds like we're talking about his website.
Oh! And Hazel says, I know how you feel. He says, thanks both. Excellent. I've got the content past and future. I've got the content past and future, yeah. No, it's you know, it's... I'm a big fan of blogging. Like I said, I'm very honest in that I don't have the time to blog. However, I'm in the process of writing a LinkedIn article, something completely different. Well, not that different, but a LinkedIn article, and it's in draft for at least a week now. Because you know it's finding the time to do it, and it sounds silly because you know we should have more time, but yeah. I don't know what it is, Alistair, but the time seems to disappear. With lots of other things that we need to do, not just this thing, but other things as well. But it's and the reason I'm writing it is because I want to give people tips on how to make the best use of this period where we should have a bit more time to invest in our digital presence. And that's the, so I'll make a promise just now. So it's live, so I can't.
Yeah, I'm going to record this part.
Yeah. This week there will be a LinkedIn article on my LinkedIn profile about how to make the best use of this period and work on your SEO through blogging maybe, but also through other things. Have a look at your websites. You know, does it need improvements? Have a look at your social media, your CRM, your customer relationship management tool, your email marketing. And I think this is the time to sort of focus on these things. And Alistair and Emma and Fiona knows as well. You know, that's why we're so busy. We're doing the things that we finally have time for. To once things are over, then we're having an up-to-date email marketing list and up-to-date CRM list. We're SEO optimized. Our website looks even better. So that's the plan anyway.
That's the plan. And now you've told the world. So
I know
we're now held accountable for that.
Kate says we'll hold you to it at the next training session. I know, Kate. I know. Cool. Any other questions that are coming in? I don't think so. I need to refresh that again. I'm just going to share my screen with you as well. There was someone, Emma reminded us actually before we went live on video animation. There was a question after your Instagram live.
Oh yes, yeah,
that came in. 33 comments. Let's have a look. So someone asked, I don't know who it was, about video animation. So I'll show some platforms. I don't use video animation myself, although for Tuminds we've used people per hour to create video animations. I'll show you that one as well. But there are tools available just now. Jamie just asked a question on the blog theme. If starting or resurrecting, is there a posting frequency standard? Does it change in that instance with the content already there? Maybe one a week, then go back to less regularly. Once a week, if you can do once a week, that would be great. But you know, don't feel. And this is the thing. It's. If you have nothing to say, don't say it.
Yeah. People fall into a trap of I've committed to posting every week, so now I'm just going to post because I have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you've got content for once a week, amazing.
Yeah.
If not, as you kind of said, Rennie, I would have said, well, I think, sorry, start again. You think you already mentioned once every couple of months is like a great base from that side.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and I'm just going to share the screen again. So we'll go to the blog post. So our blogs. Let's see. Oh, yeah, here we go. So this is week 4. So a blog post should have a title. Obviously, every blog post has a title. The title of the page becomes part of the URL. So the URL asks Tuminds social media QA week 4. That's part of the URL. So you've got some keywords in here: social media, and that should come back in the headers, H1 titles as well. So when you think about writing a blog post, and first of all, the content needs to be of interest. Obviously, you need to add value to people. I think that's a very important, add value. But once you've done that, then go back and say, okay, is this actually SEO optimized? I think that's a good way to write the article first, put it in draft, and especially if you have WordPress, there is a very useful tool called Yoast, which, funny enough, is a Dutch platform, Dutch company, yeah, SEO. It's a plugin for WordPress, and it will actually tell you if your blog post is SEO optimized. And it will, and if it isn't, it will give you recommendations on how to optimize it in that sense. And that's what we are using now. It does it in a traffic light system. So red is obviously not good, orange is okay, but green is very good. And you can't get everything in green, but try to get most of it in green in that sense. So first of all, write blog posts because you have something to share. You have you have information to share. You have your opinion to share. But then go back, save it in draft, and then go back and see, okay, is this actually, can people find it when they do a search on Google? Is it SEO optimized? So hopefully that answers that question, Jamie. So it's sorry already. Meaning if already have the content like Kate saying good content to get back into it and get followers back.
To me, that's probably more going back to the planning kind of phase of how much content you've got coming in the future. And structuring how often you want to post it over that period of time. So it's probably almost the same model as we've kind of recommended for Kate.
Yeah.
If you've already got content. Yeah.
Also, I mean, we had a post, I think a couple of weeks ago. You did a blog post about, can't remember what it was, but you listed some tools into it, and that blog post was written in, say, 2018. And then we actually get a lot of emails from people.
The stock photography one.
Photography one, that's the one. Yeah, like we mentioned, you mentioned Pixabay and Pexels and other things. But things change obviously, and there are new photo tools photo content tools in that sense. So what you see a lot, if you have already written content 2 years ago, but you can add something to it, or things have changed, it might actually be useful to go back into it and write an update on that. Yeah. Have you seen that, Alistair, as well?
Yeah, you could take that even a step further and almost have a new post and put an internal link on the old one to say, this was 2018, here's our 2020 list, and direct them across to it as well to try and pass traffic, which can also be a nice way, but definitely going back and amending them. So for talking sake, if we use that stock photography website one, if one of those websites cease to exist, let's just say for talking sake, Pexels decides that they don't want to be online anymore, we'd more than likely go in and remove that from our list as well. So it's like a little bit of housekeeping on it.
Yeah. And you see that quite often indeed, because things change. I'm just going to look at our blog post. Here we go. Instagram, with the text. The other thing that's very important on blogging is indeed the linking. You mentioned that already, Alistair. And that's what Yoast will bring up when you install that on WordPress. You've written great content, but there's no linking. There's no external linking, and there's no internal linking. And again, that's a good trick. Coming back to both Kate's and Jamie's question, if you already have content, and I see Emma using that very often as well, a new blog post, but then in that blog post referring to an earlier article from last year or 2 years ago, etc., is a good way to make use of the content you already have. And you don't need to change it, but when you link to it in a sort of a recent blog post, that's good practice as well. Am I right?
Perfect.
Thank you.
Couldn't have said it better.
Excellent. I quite like this. I mean, I said to you at the beginning, I think we didn't get a lot of questions in. So
we'll be done in 5 minutes.
We're out the sun in 20 minutes, but actually, it's almost an hour now, and we're still we're still talking. So well done. Thank you for that. Okay, I think we've got Jamie, we've got Kate, Hazel, Sarah. Hi, Sarah. So we got our regulars. Ross, George. George is back again. Carol, Jarina, Vicky. Here we go. And Diva is still there as well. Excellent. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share you to finish it off. The question I had about video animation. That was the question about. That came in through Instagram after your excellent session with Emma on Instagram. When you finished it later, I think a day later or 12 hours later, this question came in about video animation tools. And the funny thing is, when that question came in and I did some research, since that research on my Facebook page, when I now see adverts, it's about video animation tools.
Do you know, it's funny because I said this to Emma like 2 or 3 days ago. The same's happened to me.
Really? Yeah. I know, it's that remarketing again. So this appeared on my newsfeed. Toonly, create your own cartoon sales videos in minutes. I mean, as always, you know, it's not going to take you a couple of minutes. It's going to take you a lot more. But it's a nice way to have a look at it. It's not free. Well, the basic one is free actually. Oh no, it's not. It's the other one. Sorry. The standard one is $39 per month. But you know, if you're going to do that on a regular basis, it might be worth it. So that's Toonly. We will share those links in the Facebook post afterwards. Doodly, I think, was the one that had a.
Yeah, Doodly was the one that was, I think, was the one that the question kind of came from. I think someone had recommended it for video creation.
Yeah. So Doodly, same price, funny enough. I found this one, Animaker.
Oh yeah.
Which is free. Well, free plan. They have here we go. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Fine, yeah, but then you do 5 downloads with watermarking. So there are lots of different tools, and we will share them in these things as well. I've not used them. We've not used them. To be honest, we don't create a lot of animations, and when we do, we probably can do it ourselves, but it's going to cost us a lot of hours, if not days, and we're all perfectionists. You know, it's going to take even longer. So I have to admit, you know, I do go to sites like People Per Hour or Fiverr, where you can find lots of other people that could create animation for you for different prices. And obviously there's a difference between someone who does it for £50 and someone who does it for £500. But, you know, always look at the happiness rating. And how many they've created. You've got People Per Hour and Fiverr there as well. So we'll share those links as well.
Oh, I have a child joining me. I'll just be one sec.
No worries. Oh, there was a question. Someone asked a question about what was it again? Patreon. I saw it coming in, but I forgot about it. I've heard of Patreon. It's for artists. And we've got quite a few artists online, actually. Was it Luca?
Yeah, coming to tell me he's broken a toy.
Oh, not again.
Tell me about it.
I have to say, they've been very good. They've been very good. I was just saying, and I'm going to share my screen with you again. A question came in about Patreon.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know who that question came from. I forgot to have a look at it. But I think it was probably Dee who mentioned it to me. And I heard it from Dee, so I'm not using it. It's obviously for artists and creators. But if people like Kate or Dee or any other artists or creatives, something like Planoly will help you with that.
That's for doing the image split that Jenny was talking about.
Oh, right. Okay.
I'm sure it was George that asked about Patreon.
George, that's right. George.
Yeah, George is shouting me in the chat.
Oh, George. Yeah, George says me. Yeah. So I don't think I've created an account for you because I'm not creative. But let's see if no. Well, no, I didn't create an account. But I've heard from Dee. So if there
My friend Brian runs a podcast, and he essentially has monetized it through Patreon.
Ah, right. So you can sell your advice. Is that?
It's almost like people join a membership or a subscription, and there's different tiers that they can come in at.
All right. Okay. I'm sure it was Dee who mentioned it to me, but and I've had a look at it, but it's not something I use, but it's.
I've another friend that uses it that's an author, and she releases early releases of her chapters for her book. So if you're signed up to it, you can kind of read the story early.
Ah, right. Interesting.
It's like exclusive access is the route she goes down.
Interesting. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Well, we'll definitely have a look at that. What it can do. Or they take commission. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Cool. Interesting. Thanks for reminding me of that again. I've lost about it. But that's the thing. There's so many tools nowadays. Which you can use to sell your products, promote your products, to reach people that might have an interest in your product. So well done. Thanks for sharing that. Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, George mentioned it as well. Idiots. I love idiots.
Yeah, I was just actually having a look at his Patreon link, which is what I got distracted by there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and let's do this as a last question, because I don't want to keep Alistair too long from his kids before they break down the whole house.
If you see smoke coming in the door, that's when we panic, right?
Jarina, a very good question. When I write blog posts, I get pingbacks. Is that a good thing? I have to approve, bin, or put in spam. Is there something else I should be doing? Alistair probably knows a lot more about it than me, but if I'm not mistaken, pingbacks basically means, yeah, what does it mean actually, Alistair?
It's normally someone linking back to one of your pieces of content.
Right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm assuming it's WordPress that you're getting the pingback notification from. Yeah, normally it's someone's link to something of yours. You can also trigger pingbacks yourself, and it's almost accidental. And sometimes that's through linking internal content.
Yeah. Now I know. Yeah, I've seen.
So in theory, if you're triggering it yourself, you would normally always make sure you approve it so that the link functions properly. If it was a website that you don't want to kind of be associated with, in theory, you could flag it as spam, or I can't remember what the third option was. Is it bin, block, something along those lines? Yeah. Or you can ignore them, really. Yeah. They're not quite as popular as, or quite as an important function as they used to be.
Yeah. We had them with our old website. We got a lot of
we don't get them at all now on the current website.
No, because we disabled that or something. Or?
Yep. Yeah, as I say, it's not really a function that many people pay attention to anymore. So it's almost obsolete.
Yeah, indeed. But it's a good way to find out if people have mentioned you.
Normally, the benefit I used to get from it would be if I was, say, doing like an SEO audit and it was with WordPress, I would go into that section just to look at some of the websites that are linking to the content.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can go and read some of their content and think, is this someone I want to build a relationship with, or is it just someone that's sharing my content?
Perfect. Excellent. Right. Good answer, Alistair, as always. Thank you very much. Got a lot of knowledge in the team, I have to say. If I don't
think it was in my giant head.
Hey, and we managed getting through those difficult questions without Emma.
Don't tell her that, though.
No, because I like to have Emma back. Emma has, again, completely different skill set. And that's what I love of the team, There's such a variety of different sort of skills and everything. I'm going to finish with idiots. Maybe we could highlight one of the people that have been commenting at the end,
it's like a featured business.
Yeah, a highlight of a weekly business at the end. So idiots, this on Patreon. So a curious collection of creatures from George. And you can become a member there. You select the membership level, digital collector for $2 per month. Excellent, $5 per month, $10 per month. And you can see all the different levels. So interesting. Here we go. I'll certainly have a look at what's happening there, because I do like your drawings and that's it. Cool. Thank you very much, everybody. Again, it's 1 minute past 3, and here we are thinking this is not gonna last longer than 20 minutes. So thank you again for being here with us, and hopefully it was useful. I really, George says thank you. Dale is online. Dale,
hey,
from
Dale.
Shetland. Yeah, we go. So thanks for being with us again. Hopefully Emma next week can join us again, because like Alex said, we do miss her. I mean, it's nicer with the 3 of us. But thank you very much. It hopefully was useful. Thank you very much, and thanks, Hazel. Stay safe. Enjoy the sunshine today and tomorrow. I think it's back to rain on Thursday, I believe. Stay safe. Thank you very much, and hopefully see you next week for week 6.
Yeah, if you've got any questions between now and then, don't be afraid to either send them across or join us next Tuesday for it.
Fabulous. Fantastic, guys. Alistair, thank you again. Thanks
Lovely
your kids as well for being so well behaved during this hour. Go back to them.
I'll go and release them from captivity. I should point out that as a joke.
Alistair, thank you very much. Everybody else, thank you very much. And please leave a comment on the Facebook post, and we'll come back to you next week. Stay safe. See you next week. Bye now.